What's up, gamers? Welcome to another episode of GetUR GameSenseUp. My name is Bios, your annoyed average gamer.
And I am Super Kami. And guys, let me ask you this. What is your favorite element style based off Avatar?
Water's the best. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Avengers gameplay reveal and the Cyberpunk City NightWire reveal. And we're going to talk about a little bit about how these live stream situations are going.
So, this past week, Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics, or whatever, had their first Avengers War Room, discussing all over the new Avengers gameplay we revealed. And the main gameplay they showed off was Thor, and a war mission with that character, and alongside him, there was Hulk and Iron Man. So after the presentation was over, the community wasn't really excited about what they had showed off. This is the second time we've seen real gameplay from the game. The first time we've seen the gameplay was E3 of last year, and that was not well received. A lot of people said the gameplay looked very weak, and the graphics were not up to par of even current gen. A lot of people saying, how would it be ready for next gen? I will say that the graphics have gone a lot better. I'm still not the biggest fan of the character designs of the face models of the characters. A lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of conflicting criticisms on YouTube. At least personally, I've seen people that say that looks really great for a multitude of different reasons. But then there's some people that are saying that something about it is just lacking. They just don't know what it is. Why it isn't the next big superhero game on the same standards as the Batman Arkham series or even Marvel Spider-Man from the PS4. So if you guys don't know, in this game there's 6 main characters as Captain America, Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, Miss Marvel. So in that game and with these characters, you have 6 different playstyles. Not even every character you're able to craft and really make them the way you want. If you want to be a long range based hero with Thor, you can do that. If you want to be a close based melee brawler with Thor, you can do that. Same thing for Black Widow. If you want her to be very more aggressive or much more stealthy, you can do that. So we're all playing my Black Widow, and your Black Widow can be very different, as with our Iron Mans and our Thors. So there is a lot of player choice when it comes to the customization of the game, which I do appreciate. But some people are still saying that it looks watered down compared to a Batman Arkham game or Marvel Spider-Man. But with that, I say, well, those games are based off one hero. Of course, they can truly modify it to be perfect to those characters, whereas this game is 6 heroes starting. There could be a 7th here we don't know about. But we know they're going to be introducing new places and new characters totally for free. So I don't really understand why people are complaining and judging it too hard. From what we did see, it looks like there's a lot of great potential for team combos. And it really is just like Marvel's Ultimate Alliance, but in a third-person view. So you're actually in the battle and not looking from the bird's eye. So to me, it looks very exciting. I am worried about some of the gameplay. It does look very rigid, and we're just fighting robots a majority of the time. So we'll see how much variation of robots we can get. But based off what you saw, what did you think so far?
I mean, I guess I'm also on the same fence where initially when I heard about it, I didn't really know what to expect in this Avengers game. So from what they showed, I can see where people are saying it's a little bit janky. The main thing that I see a lot is that there's a lot of moments when the frames just drop. And that's kind of a big red flag or a worry that a lot of people have when you're playing with your friends and a lot of things are happening. So you wouldn't want the game to start lagging or frames to be dropping, so it becomes a slideshow in the middle of something something epic. But at the same time, it looks cool and interesting. I think the other part of it, why people can't put their finger on why something is missing, is because of the nature of the game. I feel like there's no real aim, a real purpose. Yeah, you're playing heroes and you're fighting against a bad guy, but it's weird. It's trying to be an open world MMO thing, but it's not. And it's a very weird mixture that it has going on, because you can't just pick your character and then go off and do whatever. You pick your character, you pick a mission, and then when the mission's done, that's it. You go back to the your base, and then you do another one. It's like a I forgot what they call it, but they're instance games. Like you just go into an instant.
A problem. I mean, they're not trying to be an open world game per se. They are saying that the zones, the missions will be very large and very vertical, but you have a lot of flying heroes, and Hulk can jump really high. So like, I'm not looking for an open world game. We already have open world games, and there's going to be lots of different locations in the game, so there will be a sense of exploration in that sense, because the Marvel universe is a universe, or the Marvel world is a whole planet, so there's tons of different countries and states and places that we can go to that's exclusive to Marvel, which should be very exciting. And I mean, I don't have a problem with an instance thing in that sense as well, because in those downtimes, sometimes you get to have get to customize the characters, and you have, I don't know if you saw, but there's a room you get to go to the helicarrier, and you can talk to the NPCs as a character, as Iron Man or Hulk or whatever, and you can talk to NPCs such as Marie Hill or Nick Fury or Ant-Man, and you can build relationships, and you can start building the revolution, because there's a revolution that's supposed to happen between the heroes and the villains of the game. So like, I'm okay with the instances.
No, I don't have a problem either, but I feel like since they're not really, they didn't really directly explain what it is, it's what's making people kind of like, what is this game? It's just something missing, that type of thing. For me, it's kind of like, I get it, I get where they're going with it, but like, how far can they actually take it? Because in this story like this, I mean, even though you're going to be getting new characters and a few new missions, maybe a little bit of DLC, but like, would there be an end to this game? Because they said it's a clear focus.
It's not. There's no like clear end as of right now, because it's supposed to be the Destiny or the Division, a Warframe of superhero games. Whereas, so the main game has a main villain, but at that point, we would assume that there's going to be Endgame, and there'll be a new villain that'll be introduced, and after that, you beat that other villain. It'll be a constant cycle. Marvel has hundreds of villains they can use, that they can pull from, not even just from the movies. There's been already 27 movies, give or take, or 25 movies. And then, so of course, and not every movie has every single villain from the comics. So there's a lot they can use, as long as they give them like proper attention, of course.
So that's what you think they're gonna do? They're gonna like turn this into a universe?
100%, yeah, 100%. I mean, they've already said that this no one, they haven't said it clearly, but people have been calling this a Destiny of superhero games, and Destiny's going on year 7 right now, so it's gonna keep on going for a long time. The next topic we want to go over is the Cyberpunk NightWire event, and Bios, I'll let you go ahead and start with that.
Yeah, so the City NightWire Cyberpunk event happened, the biggest event, would have been the biggest event that everybody was waiting for, to get a lot more hands-on time with Cyberpunk, to see what the game is coming to, how the progress is with the gameplay, the character, the story, everything. And shockingly, it was 25 minutes long, and we saw a lot. They gave us a trailer for the pre-log of the game before the game actually starts, before you meet Johnny Silverhand. That's what everyone is alluding to. And we got some gameplay for like the beginning storylines that you can choose, which is Nomad, Street Kid, and Corpo. And we got some car gameplay and a lot of other stuff. For me, after when I first saw it, I was upset because it was 25 minutes, and I was expecting like another long, like big 48-minute trailer or something like that to happen again, to really sink my teeth into. But after some time, and then more information just kept coming out, I see what they were doing. I don't agree with it, but it's looking pretty good so far. It's a lot of the reviewers that got their hands on it early they were able to say that the gameplay is pretty much up to par to what we have seen. It's very much in depth and very detailed. They did a lot of work on the game, which is good, and a little bit of a handful of bugs. So not too bad, not too shabby. I will say that there were a couple of weird moments looking at the game, like some things with gunplay. Uh, the guns sound and from they sound, I assume they feel really good, but just a little bit of the animation was a little weird. But the world detail is just phenomenal. Like, from what we heard, there's going to be no loading screens between the first 4 hours of when you start. There will be a loading screen when you sleep, and then another one. Your character has free roam, free movement, and they talked about the augmentations. It's just so much and so much stuff. But I'll let you give a little bit of your thoughts.
I wasn't as impressed as you were, to be very honest. When they had their NightWire event, I was at work, and when I had my 30-minute break, I was like, okay, I can either spend 30 minutes watching all this Cyberpunk info, or I could spend 30 minutes watching what I normally watch on Hulu or Netflix, or whatever, like a quick show. Like, I'm currently watching Scrubs. So I watched that initial 2-minute trailer of the prologue of the story, and I did not like the trailer at all. I didn't like the music that they used. I wasn't a fan of it. I didn't like the music they used, and I didn't like how it was so jumpy. Like, look at all these crazy things. Like, I just wasn't a fan of it. And so I saw the trailer, and I'm like, yeah, I can wait. I'm gonna watch Scrubs instead. And so I continued to watch it later. So, the main thing that they showed off from the event was that brain dancers.
The brain dance, yeah.
Yeah, the brain dance reveal. Like, oh my God, we have this really cool thing where we could like.
So basically, they spent a lot of time on the event talking about brain dance, and brain dance is basically your Arkham Knight detective mode or Detroit Become Human detective mode, where you can replay an event and find clues and really dive in there to find other angles of what happened to get some answers. And that's basically what it is. They spent a lot of time on that.
So when I saw that, I wasn't that impressed. So like, this is your first big event for Cyberpunk, and you want to waste it on this. Like, this wasn't an original concept. Like you announced, like Arkham Knight and Detroit have used this exact game, but Arkham Origins did this almost 10 years ago, and they potentially almost did it better. So I was like, why are you wasting your time on this? Why don't you show us like another like 15 minutes of a story mission, or the kind of like a side mission that we'll do, or something. Like, the brain dances was so whatever. I wouldn't mind them showing it, but for their first NightWire event, they could have shown something else. They could have shown the brain dancers on a second NightWire event, the third one. It's just that this was not an original concept, and it seems very tedious because there's 3 rounds. Because from the YouTubers who played it, there's like, there's 3 like layers. There's audio, there's visual, and there's like the heat signatures. So it can get kind of like confusing or whatever. I was just like, this seems so extra. But like, it was cool how they were doing it, but it was also like, I've seen it before.
Right.
It wasn't any better than I've seen it before. Like when Arkham did it, they had this really cool hologram. You could see the whole scene play out, and exactly how they did, you could inspect different signatures of the scene of what would have been there. Like, it was really cool, and I'm a big Batman fan. So to see them do it, I was like, oh, it's fine, but I don't know, it just wasn't. It wasn't what I thought they could have shown off their first NightWire event.
I agree. For it to be 25 minutes, and they spent like, they spent
10,
pretty much. Like, if they gave it a longer time, they could have just showed like that whole first sequence. So they could have shown the first hour, like the first hour of the game where or the middle hour where it leads up to the brain dance sequence, and when you meet that lady who teaches you about it and everything like that.
I mean, I don't think they need to show an hour. Like, I'm not saying show me an hour of straight gameplay. I don't need that right now. I don't mind them showing a 10-minute sequence. That's fine. It's just that the 10-minute sequence that they chose wasn't very exciting as a first look at the most current version of Cyberpunk, in my opinion.
No, yeah. I'm just saying, like, with that, if it was longer, they would have showed some other mechanics and special features and stuff like that. But it was weird for them to choose that specific one. So, yeah.
I have a question for you. So my biggest takeaway from watching all the stuff from the NightWire event is how similar this game looks to me to Grand Theft Auto, especially GTA 5. And if you guys don't know, BIOS is not a fan of GTA, which is GTA 5 in particular, which is one of the best games that's ever been made. And I gotta ask, what about this game? Aside from this, it could just be the cyberpunk theme, but what about this game that you're so interested in when this is very similar to GTA 5?
Okay, it appears similar to GTA, but it's not like GTA because this isn't. I don't think GTA is categorized as an RPG, is it?
I believe so.
Well, for this one, first, what CD Projekt Red is doing with Cyberpunk, it's a much more detailed and it's a much more immersive experience. It's supposed to give you a feeling that you are living in this world, and they put a lot of stuff in it to make that feeling come true. A lot of lore, a lot of NPCs on the street that you could talk to, have a conversation, and get missions from. The way I mean,
GTA has all of that. GTA has all of that.
Yeah, but it's not the same where you can get a car and start running people over and get chased by cops and.
Okay, but in Cyberpunk you can do that. It'll just be worse for you. Like there's more of a story benefit. Oh, if you do that, it's going to be worse for you. Like you'll be losing access to that. But you can get in a car if you want to get in Cyberpunk and shoot everybody up. You can do that, just like in GTA 5.
You can, but the experience, I feel like the experience that they are offering generally is not the same as GTA. Similar, but it's just not the same. GTA has their own vibe. It's also very realistic, which doesn't attract me. I don't want that realistic experience. I like this more fantasy style, crazy, cyberpunky, theme that they have.
And I mean, that is cool.
And since it's also in first person, it's supposed to give you that even more of that immersiveness. Like
GTA 5 can be played in first person.
It can, but it's not dedicated to it, like this.
I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, you can play the whole game in first person and it'll work fine. I mean, it's just that when I'm watching Cyberpunk, it's like, oh, we're so raunchy, we're so mature, you can pick the size of your genitals, and look at these boobs and explosions, and you can modify this and that. That's a lot of similarities to GTA. Realistically, you could call Cyberpunk 2077 GTA 6. I could very much see Rockstar making a GTA game in the future looking exactly like Cyberpunk. I don't see much of a difference. So I don't have a problem with that. I think GTA 5 is one of the best games I've ever played personally. I was just really shocked. Now that we've seen more gameplay, I didn't get a GTA 5 6 months ago or whatever, before this event. I'm just really shocked to hear you say, you're really excited for this when I'm this is almost exactly like GTA 5, and you don't even want to give GTA 5 a chance. And sure, you can say
I've seen GTA, I've played GTA. It's just not.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Have you played the actual story of GTA? It's a fantastic story.
I bet
it's a fantastic story.
I bet it is. I don't care.
I'm just really shocked because it is very similar. Aside from especially they've gone. I don't know if you saw, but they got rid of the wall running. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, but since he's gotten rid of some sort of the crazier stuff like wall running, I want to know what else they're getting rid of.
They got rid of that, and they got rid of the subway system. The train.
What subway system? I don't know.
There was a thing where you were going to be able to take a subway or some type of train around the city, and just to give that added thing. So you would get into the train and you could zip across the map and see everything live, because since there's no loading screens, everything would just kind of work, and you would just kind of have that little thing that gives you a little bit more of an immersive feeling. Or if you have to do a mission downtown, you would go to the train, sit on it, and go downtown. And then if you're lucky, you can encounter something that can happen on the train, like a robbery, or a guy will come up to you and talk to you and try to give you a mission, stuff like that. But they took that out because, what did they say? They said it didn't match the new form that they were going for. I'm not too sure. But a lot of people were really looking forward to that, including myself. And it does kind of suck that they don't have it. But I guess since it's fine because you could still walk everywhere. And those situations can still happen. You just won't be on a train. The wall running, I'm not too upset about it being gone. I would have more of a negative reaction if the other things that they showed off with it got taken away. Like if you're unable to use your mantis blades to climb walls, and your mantis blades are basically these pincer blades that come out of your arms, and you could use it to climb and slice people up and stuff like that. So if they took out that other features in mobility as well, then I would be like, okay, come on guys, like you've had enough time to try to make this work. Like, come on, really? But they said,
I'm just afraid that they might take out other cool abilities. Because if they make it more realistic, because if there's less,
I'm not too sure what they're aiming for with that, because when everybody talks about Cyberpunk, and when they talk about Cyberpunk themselves, they're like, we are going into this to be super immersed, to be like super 100% Cyberpunk, lore-driven impact, blah 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 blah. Yeah, this super immersive world, and they wanted all these features to be a part of it because in the lore, you can climb walls and run on them and stuff like that. So I don't imagine them taking away too many of those features to make it more realistic, because that's not, from what they said, that's not their goal, to make it realistic, just more immersive in the universe of Cyberpunk. If I can still use my mantis blade to climb walls, I'm fine. Or whatever, because they said double jumping is still in the game and stuff.
All we can do is wait and see. Hopefully the next NightWire event is not like 2 months from now or whatever. Hopefully it's pretty soon.
It's supposed to be next week. All right, now we are going to talk about these live events. Since because of COVID-19, we're unable to have E3 and to have these big physical events where people go to. Now that everything is online, we're now going to talk about how this is working, and is it something that should stick around. So far, my opinion on it is that I'm kind of not liking this, because you would think that with the freedom and, possibly even more flexible, because you don't require so much to you don't need so many resources to show off your games and to do these events. You would imagine that, they would take a little bit more time to flesh it out, make it a little bit longer, make it more, make it cooler, especially. But for what we're getting, like with the Avengers and with the Cyberpunk, two games that have been pretty highly anticipated, one higher than the other, but the excitement's there. And then for it to only be 25 minutes?
Yeah, I'm very conflicted. I kind of brought this up not too long ago when we were talking about PlayStation and Xbox. I'm not a fan of the big drip feed of content we're getting right now throughout the summer. Like, it is cool that we're getting stuff all summer long, but at the same sense, I feel like E3 brings like a plethora of everything. Like, everyone puts their best foot forward during E3, because E3 is not just for the fans, it's also for the investors to see who they want to put money into or whatever. And it's just like everyone is trying their best at E3. Like, they're really going above and beyond at E3. But now it's like, oh, we're all doing it from home, from the company itself. We'll just put a little thing on YouTube. Like, I was really disgusted with Avengers and Crystal Dynamics event. They said it was going to be an hour. I saw it on Twitch. I was watching it on Twitch, and they were like, oh, so the event wrapped up around 25 minutes-ish. They were like, okay, guys, stick around. Go into Twitch chat and leave questions, because we're going to have a question and answer in a couple minutes, very soon. A question and answer. We're going to look at the chat and you answer some questions with the developers. So me and 17,000 other people were sitting in a Twitch chat waiting and putting questions in, waiting for this event to start, developers to talk, and it was just like a slideshow for the next 40 minutes, and they never came on to speak. And I was like, yo, what is this?
Did anyone talk about that?
I don't think anybody did, but I was literally, I'm like, yo, are these people really coming? Because around the 1 hour mark, the stream just ended.
Yeah.
I was like, are you serious? You guys said you were going to be talking to your community, and now you're not. So what's up with that?
Another company, a developer that's doing the same thing a little bit is People Can Fly for Outriders, where they're having these little showcases every month, but so far the past two have just been a rehash of information that's already out there, and then a little bit of something new, like maybe a new monster and some customization. But it's not worth revealing. It doesn't feel like something to be excited about. And I feel like these developers, these companies are just taking way too much of a back seat on this, when they should really putting their best foot where they should be putting their best foot forward. And it's kind of funny because, like, remember when what's his name, the guy who's hosting the summer game stuff, who left E3? Him, remember that all that drama that he got into, and he's like, oh, we should do this stuff online because it's the future and blah blah blah, and then everybody was like, no, we're gonna have the event, period, end of story. And then he left, like he was making it like a big deal, and everybody thought like, yeah, it would be cool online, because then if there's a demo, they could stream it over to anybody who's watching, so that those people can play from home and give feedback and stuff like that, get your game into more people's hands, and do more. But lately it's just been so lackluster. So I wonder if anyone out there who feels the same way or who is noticing this, because I'm not digging this at all. Like, even if I'm getting it once a week or once a month, I'd rather just have one big event where they show everything extensively than this.
Yeah, like, to me personally, I feel like if we're gonna talk about Cyberpunk, I feel Cyberpunk would have come on stage at the Xbox event, showed off that 10 minutes of the brain dancer teasers, and then after the Xbox event, there'd be like another 30 minutes worth of content, of like brand new content showing like what you were saying. You could have seen everything that led up to that, so you saw a longer version of that brain dancers. They would have shown a lot more footage, because they show something on stage, and then there's the on the floor where the people are playing it, and there's a lot more footage revealed. Like Destiny back in the day, they would have cinematic trailer on the PlayStation stage, but then on the floor you got to play like a 20 minutes of what they showed off. So it's like, I just feel like because they're all at home, they're really holding back, and it's like, we'll just drop a little here and drop a little there. And it's like I said, I'm not a fan of it. It's just the event forces them to, since everybody's there all at once, it's 3 days of nonstop gaming news. Yeah. Everybody's there trying to make a name for themselves. Everyone's trying to up each other out. They're trying to say, we want you to look at, they're like, we want you to look at our games. We want you to buy and be interested in our games. But since there's that competition not there anymore, everybody's just doing it whenever they want. And they can see the schedule. It's like, you're going then, I'll go here, and I'll go next week, and you go next week. So we don't eat each other's like market. You don't step on top of each other. They don't care. And it's like, but now you guys are not trying like you would for E3. Mm-hmm. Hopefully E3 does come back next year. Like I said it for the Sony event, like I miss E3, and hopefully E3 comes back next year. Because some people are saying it might not. But I think as a community we need it, because this is pretty weak sauce. This is weak sauce.
Yeah, this is what is this? Like, also, have you noticed this weird thing where, like, an event would happen, and then an hour or two later, suddenly there's gameplay now? Like, suddenly there's some content now coming from all these news sites?
Yeah, because they hand out all the stuff much in advance.
No, right. But it just feels so weird to me. Like, you would come here and, you would come to the main line. Like, I go to the Cyberpunk YouTube or Twitch thing, and I'm watching, and I'm waiting to get all this content, and then nothing happens. And then a little bit while later, now stuff is coming out, but they don't say anything. Like they don't say, stay tuned, like keep an eye out for so and so to drop some more information, blah blah. But even then, I still don't like it. It should be one place, and then if there is extra, then it's extra. But first, it should have been like like you get your main course meal, and then you get your dessert. Yeah, because right now I'm like, we're just getting salad, and then
we never get the steak.
Exactly. So
again, I'm not the biggest fan of this drip feed content of information, like you mentioned it earlier, and I mentioned it before.
They're killing it. They're killing it for everybody. Like this could work, but for like people like you and I who are noticing these things and trying to call it out, it's not gonna happen unless they start like come on, hit us with the best you got. 2020, it's gonna come and go. You know, next gen is already upon us and everything.
Next gen is upon us, and like we still know very little about it.
Like
weird.
No one is excited. I've never, like, the more I talk to people in my circle and outside of my circle a little bit, no one is really excited. I've never seen that before. They're just like, oh yeah, well, I mean, that's the way that they marketed it now, but it's just so, it's just weird, where it's like, you're not excited for the next thing.
I just hope for this next July event. People are saying it's supposed to be like around July 23rd for the Xbox event. Yeah, I really hope for this July event for Xbox, they announce the price and the date. I want Microsoft to go ahead and stamp their foot in the ground, stamp their flag and say, we're doing this, be excited, here are our games, here's the date, and here's the price. I really hope they stop the chicken dance this month. Like, I feel like we know these things are supposed to come out this holiday, but since they haven't given a price or a date, people are still like up in the air about it. It's not real. It's not real until they give it a date or a price. So here's hoping Microsoft can do it and the community is excited again.
Alright guys, that was this episode of Get Your Game Sense Up. Let us know down in the comments what your guys' opinion on the Avengers event, the Cyberpunk event, and your thoughts on how these live events are going for the current summer live games. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Let us know down below. Also, do not be afraid to give us some feedback on these podcasts. We would love to hear from you. And Super, let them know where they can find us.
Guys, we are available on all podcast platforms, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. And of course, Bias's YouTube channel.
And guys, always remember,
get your game sense up.